everyone. Welcome to another episode of J&M Show. Today we are going to go into our self-respect.
Yeah, and if you've been following, we are working with 16 personalities, and we are going through this really awesome process of getting to understand ourselves better. And today we're still under personal growth, and this is the self-respect category. So I'll turn it over to the beautiful Miss Mariella and let her get started.
All right, so remember guys, in my previous episodes, we talked about Jason being the commander, that's his personality type, and mine being the logistician. So under self-respect, we have several categories. We have the balanced self-respect and the unbalanced self-respect. So I'm going to start off with the balanced self-respect. Simply put, self-respect concerns liking what people see in their mental mirror. While similar to self-esteem in that it is a motivator, this is less about having an overarching sense of worth and more about approving of one's action. It asks the question, do I like myself because of the way I conduct my life and the way I express myself in the world? People driven to command respect for themselves through their actions will likely choose the right path of growth.
So let me, mine's a little bit shorter, the introduction here. So self-respect differs from self-esteem in that it's less about emotional harmony with oneself and more about objective appreciation for one's own qualities and actions. Commanders build this motivational facet by being honest with themselves, taking pride in what they do, and respecting the talents that make them special.
Oh, okay. So then we are going to go underneath this balanced self-respect. We have doing good by the rules. So logisticians find their self-respect in their drive to do good by making the world effective for themselves and those they care about. Because of their introverted bent, it doesn't matter so much whether others agree with them or not. As long as they believe they are doing what they can to uphold traditions, rules, and standards, they don't need the approval of others. That's totally me, and it has been for a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it doesn't mean that you don't care at all what others think, but you're going to kind of go your way and do your thing, and as long as it's working for you, I guess, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then they just have to approve of their own actions, unlike many people who might see rules as somewhat arbitrary. I think that would be more, like you before, I would say, right?
Mm-hmm.
Logisticians deeply hold that set standards are essential to the world being a better place. For logisticians, when they safeguard these standards, they see themselves as contributing to the well-being of themselves and other people. A very respectable thing to do.
All right. So commanders, guiding principles. Commanders deeply value organized, consistent systems. I do. This last few weeks has been a little crazy. They work hard to figure out their preferences in doing things, creating their canon of principles through both a search for function and ideas. Their principles are highly personal, but as energetic idealists, they cannot help but actively apply their conclusions to their environment. Establishing and living their principles is one of the core ways the commanders build balanced self-respect. So that first sentence, or actually that first sentence, right? Commanders deeply value organized, consistent systems. And I like that pattern. I like a system. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe the danger there is if you're in a bad system, that can potentially it could backfire, right? Yeah. If you're in a good system and you're really working that system, that's good. But if you're maybe in the wrong system or your system isn't right, that could be bad because you don't really realize it, right? You're hey man, this is my system. I got to work with it. People with this personality type are rarely content to shape their own lives. Okay, rarely content to shape their own lives. Commanders naturally think that if something works for them, it can benefit others as well. Of course, not everyone has the same needs. So these types balance their approach by consciously using their cleverness to conceive plans that respect others' uniqueness. Nothing boosts commanders' sense of self-respect like living out their ideals when sharing such principles in balanced ways that garner them acceptance and positive feedback from the world as well. Nothing boosts commanders' sense of self-respect like living out their ideals than sharing such principles in balanced ways that garner them acceptance and positive feedback from the world.
Yeah, you want the positive feedback of your own actions, right? Whenever you do
Well, I
something,
think, it's saying you want to be able to, live out your ideals and then sharing those principles, right, in a balanced ways that garner them acceptance and positive feedback. So the big thing there is finding a way to share those principles in a balanced way, I think.
There you go. And then we have one more category underneath self-respect for me, for logisticians, is diligent attention. In everyday life, this means logisticians strive to maintain standards and make sure people themselves especially do things as they should be in an established standard in the culture involved. Their need to self-respect will motivate them to oversee their work with diligent attention to protocols and expectations and to raise a family or live a private life dedicated to upholding conventional principles for living. That's completely right there. So I believe that I do follow, when I follow something, I do have, I put diligent attention to those protocols and expectations, set out.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm thinking about this, right? And I'm sure it's probably consistent with most of the personalities, I would assume, but I guess what I'm picking up here is we both have a structure, an ideal way of seeing life, right? And these type of things. But what I'm getting is we've come to those conclusions through different ways. And that's probably where we butt heads.
Yes.
Because we're both very, kind of adamant or secure in what we think and how we think things should go.
Yes.
But we've come to them from different paths. So they're going to be different.
Yes.
And finding a way to get them to work together and understanding the other person is pretty important. So,
and it has been difficult for us, and that's what we're working on right now.
Yeah. Pride in accomplishment. As rewarding as they can be, principles remain only theories unless they're put into action. A common way commanders build and maintain balanced self-respect is by engaging both effort and achievement as independently worthy actions. So engaging in both effort and achievement, okay? A mighty leap is mighty wherever one lands. These types seek to modify circumstances more than adapt to them. Putting their ideas to work is a critical step in that process. Instead of just thinking that something should be a certain way, commanders love to put innovative thought into practice.
Commanders like to put innovative thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, for me personally, I think, and maybe we talked about creativity previously, maybe it is kind of keeping that creative side down, keeps me from innovating.
Maybe suppressed it for so long that we don't realize
maybe,
that, that's...
Yeah, or maybe that's just a trait that, I'm not high in. I don't know. It depends on what I'm doing now that I think about it. when
You feel
I'm
like so,
doing
yeah.
certain physical type work and
Yes.
activities, I can be very innovative. I can create, I
Yes.
can fix just about anything. I can accomplish just about anything in the physical world when it comes to like housework and fixing things and
Yeah.
doing those kind of things. Maybe I gotta look to
Yeah.
innovate a little bit more in another part of my life. So hold on, I get not always quick to seek radical changes. No,
Yeah, that's true.
they nonetheless embrace bold action,
Yes.
including challenging the person in the mirror to walk their talk. Yeah.
Yes.
When commander individuals pursue goals, especially around something new, they affirm the strength of their abilities, which is something they can respect deeply in themselves, independent of specific achievements. Whether they are redesigning a bathroom or running a marathon to raise money for charity, these types appreciate themselves through action and incorporate the value into a balanced sense of self-respect.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yes,
interesting.
definitely. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this for a little bit before we wrap this one up today.
Okay.
Anything specific stand out there for you?
Just like the renovating the bathroom. I mean, you have taken on projects that I thought that they weren't going to come through just because I saw them that you might need extra help or difficulties in it, and you saw it through and you just finish a product. And I think that's the creative part. Depending on what the creative part is or activity is, you are very innovative and
Yeah, this last line, whether they're redesigning a bathroom or running a marathon to raise money for charity, these types appreciate themselves through action
Yes.
and incorporate that value into a balanced sense of self-respect.
Yeah. So that's where you find self-respect. Once you accomplish something, you feel so good about yourself. You feel accomplished. You feel great. You have a great attitude afterwards.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, this is one thing that this is kind of talked about a few times. And again, one of the things that led us to the 16 personalities is really trying to understand ourselves better, because not everything, I know this will be a surprise, but not everything in our lives has gone exactly to plan. I'm sure no one out there has ever experienced that. But, we got to a point where we thought we needed to find some better answers and understand ourselves better. And, one of the things I think, is taking action and then not getting taking the actions and then not really reaping benefits, getting the big wins, the congratulations, kind of get stuck in a rut there. And then with that personality, I'm still banging my head up against the wall. And this has really given me some good insight to look at myself and know that as I begin to accomplish things, as we begin to knock down these things on our list to do, taking that action is going to really help boost my self-respect, my self-worth, my confidence, and get back to a better me.
So with that said, I think you covered it, and until next time, guys, stay tuned, leave comments in the box below, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for more.
Appreciate it.
Have a
We'll
great
talk to
day.
you soon. Bye.
Signing off.